Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. So in light of local Monero shutting down around 2 months ago, as most of you know, there isn't really a really good alternative. It was a huge blow to the P2P trading community because local Monero has been around for a while, had a great reputation, had lots of good liquidity, great rates, and it had a really vibrant P2P trading community. There was no KYC, so the loss of local Moneros was a big blow, and since then, people have been giving a lot of recommendations about alternatives. One of them is called Havano, but Havano is kind of like BISC, if you know what that is. It's a non-custodial P2P trading platform where you have to download it onto your computer and you use it through the Tor browser or you use the Onion or something. I'm not familiar with the exact details, but it's still kind of new and it's like BISC, it's very clunky, so I don't see that as a good alternative. What I do have for you are 2 recommendations for custodial KYC-less P2P exchanges, and I'm going to give you some of the pros and cons of them. And if you like these recommendations, you can use my referral link in the description down below. So let's get into it. So the first one that I want to talk about is one called BitPapa. This is one that I've just recently got on, and it's some of the pros and cons of it is the reason why I can't use it all the time is just because it's new. It doesn't have a lot of offers that I would actually use. So for instance, Wise, Revolut, PayPal, it doesn't have a lot of the main ones, but one of the reasons why I want to bring it up, one of the pros of it, it's not really a pro for me, but it actually has a lot of Russian ruble offers, which is something that I haven't really seen so much in other P2P cryptocurrency exchanges. I don't know if the makers of this website are Russian, but it's got so many offers for Russian rubles, all these payment methods I've never heard of: Sberbank, Tinkoff, PaySend, Zoom, Sberbank, Tinkoff, SBP. I don't know what these are, but if you're into buying crypto with Russian rubles, I think BitPapa is the way to go. It doesn't require any KYC, and of course you can use your payment methods to buy Monero. But if you wanted to use more traditional currencies like US dollars and euros, you will find that there are some options. They might not be exactly what you want, but it might be good to just go there and have a scan around about what kind of things you can find. You might be able to get lucky and find a good deal. This is actually an interesting one. There's an offer here for Binance Pay. So for those that aren't familiar with Binance Pay is it's a payment. It's a way of sending payments to someone via their Binance user ID, and this doesn't incur any fees. It's instantaneous, and you can send them any any crypto that you want, and it's become a very popular form of payment in this day and age in the crypto world. And you can use Binance Pay to buy Monero on BitPapa, but the rate's like 6% above market, so that's not ideal. You've got one here for Payeer, that's 8%. Let's see, Advanced Cash, I think it's ADV Cash, that's 8%. World Remit, 10%. You've got one for Western Union as well. So to be honest, it's not the best, but one of the reasons why I recommend it as well is because I think there's been such a vacuum that's been created from the loss of local Moneros that it's going to be a matter of time when more and more people are going to just flood to whatever the next best alternative is. And I think BitPapa is going to be one of these good alternatives. The other one that I want to recommend, which is one I recommended in a previous video, but I didn't want to fully recommend it. But I think I'm more comfortable recommending it now, and that's one called BitValve. And the reason why I was a little hesitant to recommend BitValve was because I'm not really very fond of their trading community. You've got mostly people from, okay, maybe not mostly, but as someone that sells there's just a lot of people from West Africa and India. And the thing is, anyone can create an account, and there's no KYC, which is good. But the problem is, if you have a low quality trading community, that's just going to attract a lot of scammers. So on local Monero, for instance, I had a similar setup, but I actually found that, I mean, just obviously there were a lot of scammers. There were some bots and some obviously malicious actors, but you had a lot of good people as well. BitValve, I found that there was just too many people that were just straight malevolent actors, and that kind of killed it for me. However, I've been paying attention to it over the past 2 months since local Monero closed, and what I found is just that, like I discussed with BitPapa, there's just more and more sellers that are now going to these not really great alternatives, but they're going there, and as a result, I noticed that the markups are, well, the rate that they're selling it is actually, they're selling it above market rate. It's actually pretty decent. So if I just scroll through here, I'm looking at just all the offers for Monero and BitValve. At the top of the list, you've got Cash App at 5% above market rate. You've got one for Zoom at 7% market rate. Western Union's coming up a lot at 7% market rate. And if you scroll down a bit further, you've got TransferWise, also around 7% market rate, which, to be honest, is only a little bit worse than what Monero was at its peak before it closed, which I have to say is a really dramatic improvement. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a lot of Monero offers on here. Obviously not as much as what it was on local Monero. Oh, you know what? It just keeps going. It keeps going. There's so many offers here. And obviously, as you scroll down, the rates get higher. It's not as good, but see how far I've scrolled down, and the markup's only 11% above market rate. So I have to say BitValve has surprised me. I think the shutdown of local Monero has been a massive boon to it, along with other P2P cryptocurrency exchanges like local CoinSwap has seen a huge boom in the amount of sellers there, which is good for buyers, and it's also been good for places like HODL HODL. Also, referral link in the description down below if you want to sign up with local CoinSwap and HODL HODL. There you can get a better rate, and yeah. So BitValve and BitPapa, I think, are the best places for you to buy Monero if you don't want to use KYC. But what if you want to sell Monero? This becomes a bit more complicated. Unlike local Monero, where it just didn't require any KYC for the sellers, BitPapa and BitValve do require you to KYC. So this might be something that a lot of sellers, they might not want to do that. But if you did want to do that, I would want to recommend that you sign up with KuCoin. The reason why I recommend signing up with KuCoin is because there's not a whole lot of exchanges right now that have good amounts of volume for Monero on the spot market, and this is, if you did want to sell at all, regardless of whether you want a KYC or not, you want to find a centralized exchange with a good amount of volume in Monero USDT, and KuCoin's always consistently had a good amount of volume. I'm sure many of you have had the unfortunate experience of going onto an exchange, buying some Monero, but that exchange had low volume and you end up getting wrecked on the spread. So if you want to avoid that, I suggest using my referral link to sign up with KuCoin if you're interested in selling. But unfortunately, if you did want to sell without KYC, I don't think I've got a good alternative for you right now. We're going to have to wait for some of the developments of some of the other P2P cryptocurrency exchanges specializing in Monero. Havana is one that I will hopefully make a review on in the future. There's a whole lot of talk about it in the Monero community. It just hasn't kind of, I think it's the interface is very clunky, much like BISC if you're familiar with that. But if it does work, then I think it could be the best way of trading Monero. For those who haven't heard of Havana, it's like BISC, which is a non-custodial KYC-less trading platform, but it runs on the Tor browser, and it's also like a program that you can install onto your computer, and yeah, it has a lot of it's something that can't be shut down, unlike local Monero, which, because it was a centralized exchange, it could be shut down. And so I think there's going to be an increasing need for these open sourced platforms that, even if it was shut down, somehow there can just be a new one that just starts up somewhere else. So yeah, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. Again, if you're interested in signing up to BitPapa or BitValve, you can use my referral link in the description down below, and you can subscribe if you're interested in getting more tips and tricks on how to debank, and I'll see you later.